Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. Welcome to another video on Cameroon as we unravel or unpack what is going on in my beautiful country of Cameroon. But before we get into it, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything you do, liking our videos, subscribing to our channel, and sharing our videos with your loved one, family, and friends. We cannot do it without you. So I appreciate you guys. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including the standoff between Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh and Mr. Atanga Nji Paul, or popularly known as Grand Atango. We're going to talk about the Pope message to Nigeria and Cameroon. We're going to talk about, give you updates on what is happening and our president, the update from our president, Issa Tchiroma Bakary. And we're going to also give you updates on the election frauds that took place after the October 12th election and the real numbers that are coming out now, which shows that our president was led or won the election by about 47.1%, which is a number that we all know. We don't know the number, but we knew that our president won the election. But the numbers are coming out now, and it shows that the ELECAM officials inflated the result just because they want to favor Paul Biya. And we're also going to give you updates on what is happening in Nigeria with the whole situation of those young girls being abducted and what the Nigerian government is trying to do, achieve at this point in time. So there's a lot to unpack in this video. So please stay with me to the end so that way you can enjoy. And please do us a favor, share with your loved ones, family, and friends. Thank you very much. Let's start in Biya. So this update, we're going to start in Biya. We have been fighting. We're fighting and we're still in the process to defeat. We're trying to defeat oppression and suppression of this regime. But some people are using this regime to oppress other people. And I don't want to go into full details of the whole of this case, but the reason I'm bringing this thing up is I saw a post yesterday about a popular blogger in Cameroon called Future or Future, depending on how you pronounce it. But me, I'm going to say Future. But this guy was abducted, arrested on Sunday. Who arrests someone on Sunday? I don't understand, because you don't want him to have post bail, because you cannot post bail on Sunday. Okay, good and fine. The people came in taxi and they were not putting on military or police uniform. They were putting on like civilian clothes. You just come in taxi and you present a document that was, was just in French. The first thing that came to my mind, French. They live in Biya. How French is not the first language in Biya. Southwest region of Cameroon is English. So why would they present a document in French? When I saw that details of this stuff, so I wanted to confirm that what I'm seeing is true. So I had to call the PA of the blogger for is it Future? The way, I don't know how you call it. So I had to call the PA to find out what is going on. So she explained to me the whole situation, which I don't want to really get into. Why? Because for me, it is not necessary to get into that. My only problem is using the police to suppress other people. That's my problem. And according to her, he slept in the police station and he will be transferred to Douala because the case is from Douala. That explains why it was in French. The convocation was in French. And my problem is, how are you going to send someone straight to prison without even letting a person have their day in court? Normally, they're supposed to go to court, and then after the final verdict, then you can, if the person is guilty, then the person go to prison. This is so crazy to think that someone have not even had their day in court, but they're arresting the person. This oppression and suppression, we don't want it. And the guy's name is Esimo. Esimo is a videographer who arrested Future. We don't want all these things to be happening. We are fighting against oppression. Because you have some connection, you don't use the connection against your brothers or sisters. This is unacceptable. And you're claiming defamation. If it's a defamation claim, let him have his day in court. You bring all your evidence, and then he comes with his own evidence to defend himself. And then after the final verdict, if he is found guilty, then let him be charged for it. and let him go to prison if that's what the verdict is all about. But using the military or using the police to suppress somebody and the person have not even had the day in court is unacceptable, and we say no to that. So apparently they say, I'm going to put a picture on my screen right now. They're saying that, oh, this is a video that they shot, and it was a drone problem. Drone went missing and stuff like that. And the guy on the left, my left-hand side, is the Esimo himself. And you can see that it's a really young guy. So how can a young guy like this, be working on trying to oppress another young guy? This is unacceptable. When I saw this, the first thing that came to my mind, when I saw the information, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, it should not be that this regime is trying to use this kind of storyline, to get this guy. Because Future is a good guy. And you see, during the election time, he was, giving updates on what is happening. He didn't side with anybody. He didn't, declare, oh, this person is the winner. Very respectful. So I just wanted to be sure that it's not the regime that is trying to get him. That's why I call his PA to find out what is going on. And then when I got the information, and then I'm like, okay, that's good. And she said she's going to go with him to Douala today. I've not spoken to her ever since. So, but what I got is he's doing well and he's doing okay. So that's the good thing. But Esimo, you have to do everything to release that guy. If you claim that's defamation, let him have his day in court. Because the drone problem have not been resolved. And up to now, you have not paid for that drone or replaced the drone. So I don't see why you're going to arrest somebody and you say death threat and all that stuff. I don't know how all that thing came about, but I'm not going to say, oh, what Esimo is saying is false and what this guy is saying is true. No, it's not my... Let them go to court and have their day in court. And then let the judge decide what is going to happen. But we don't want any judge that is going to come and want to play CPD in politics. So anybody that is going to preside over the case got to be someone who has integrity. And we're going to be watching very closely to see what is happening in that case, because it is unacceptable. We cannot be fighting the regime that's oppressing us, and then people are using the same regime to oppress their brothers and sisters. What is the whole point of the fight if at the end of the day we're still going to use the police and maybe the gendarmes or the army to oppress our brothers? That's not what we're fighting for. So let him have his day in court. So release him immediately with immediate effect, with no explanation. We don't need any explanation from you. Just release him, and then if you think that the case is serious, take him to court. Let him have his day in court and defend himself. That is how it should be, because this thing you're doing is unacceptable. So we reject that form of oppression. You cannot be oppressing your brother in that manner. So now we're going to go to the next update of the day, the tension or the standoff between Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh and Paul Atanga Nji Paul. So let's go into it. Exclusive tension report between top officials over volleyball tournament ban in Douala. Volleyball tournament ban in Douala. Who cares about volleyball, my people? Reliable sources report that the Secretary General at the presidency, Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh, strongly reprimanded the Littoral Governor, Ivaha Diboa, following the controversial ban of a volleyball tournament in Douala, a tournament that had reportedly been approved by the former president of Cameroon. Because this is a president of Cameroon, he's not a president. The former president of Cameroon, Paul Biya. The governor is said to have explained that he acted based on instructions from the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanga Nji, which led to a sharp exchange at the top levels of the administration. Just hours after this confrontation, the earlier ban was lifted and the volleyball tournament was officially authorized to proceed. What is your reaction to this administrative standoff? Share your thoughts. Your voice matters. Yeah, this standoff is none of my business, if I may say. It's none of my business. But you see the picture of Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh, and you see the governor of the Littoral region. So this is none of my business. All we want and we demand as Cameroonians at the end of the day is to see our president in a 2D. So all these incompetent ministers, if they are boxing, they're fighting, if they want to have a boxing match, they can have it after we have our president in a 2D. So all this side show that they're having is none of our business. If they're having a fight left and right, center, they are incompetent in the first place, and they're not serving the Cameroonian people. What is a volleyball match going to do in the current affairs in Cameroon? Nothing. How many people watch volleyball in Cameroon? How many people? Not a lot. So all this side show that they're putting on, and they're quarreling, arguing, disagreement between themselves. That's the problem. Like when anything happens in Cameroon, when any problem occurs, who do you hear first? Grand Atango. He's not the Minister of the Communication. He is just the Minister of Territorial Administration. He's not the Prime Minister. But every single time you hear his voice, he's the one talking, coming out to, stretching people, give firm warning and talking about all these things. And rarely do you hear Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh. But this time around, Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh had to come fact check this guy and like, hey, power, jam power. I'm bigger than you, young man. So when we give instructions in the name of the head of state, you follow. You don't ask two questions. You don't have the authority to come ban things that we have put in place. So just letting you know that. And that fact check. So that is their business. It's not our business. We don't even watch volleyball. And we did not even know there was a volleyball tournament in Douala. If not of this report, we are not going to be aware of that. So that's not a problem. Our problem is Paul Biya stepping down with all his incompetent ministers, all of them leaving office. And we have fresh revelation of what happened after the election of October 2025. So we're going to be giving you those reports coming up very soon. So please hang tight, stay with me to enjoy this amazing video. And if you're liking it so far, just give us a thumbs up. And let's go back into the reports of the day. So you see, we have a lot of updates, and the next one I'm going to be giving you, it's about our president-elect Issa Tchiroma Bakary by his spokesperson, Madam Alice Income. So I'm going to put the communique up on my screen, but I'm not going to read it because I'm just going to give you a summary of what it's saying. So based on the information that was made public yesterday, is that Issa Tchiroma Bakary is in Gambia. You saw in a communique from the first communique was from the Gambian officials, where they made a statement talking about how our president Issa Tchiroma is in Gambia. So this post by Madam Alice is just thanking the Gambian officials and the Gambian president for keeping our president safe and making sure that he's in good hands. That is what this post is talking about, and appreciating the Gambian officials for everything they do, because it's a tough one, especially in Africa where the landscape is so complicated, to see a president who is going to extend his hand to help and support that, despite the situation, the tense environment, try to make sure that a person is safe, because other countries could not ensure his safety. So it's very, very important to see a country like Gambia stepping up. So I appreciate the Gambian president for doing this thing. It's very important to see an African brother looking out for another African brother. That is what we want. That's why we as youth were fighting against these visa restrictions that we have as Africans traveling between within the continent. It is unacceptable. You cannot be traveling to Congo, you cannot be traveling to any other African country, and you're paying $250 or $300 just to go see that place, and you're coming back. It's unacceptable. We don't want that. That's why we youth are fighting and frowning against all these things. We want a case where all Africans can travel within Africa without a visa. That is the kind of Africa we want. It should not be cheaper to fly to a Latin American country or Asia and with no visa restriction or and visa-free access, but to go to another African, your neighboring brother, your neighboring country, you cannot have access to it. You have to pay a hefty fine of about $250 to $300. It is unacceptable. So we don't want it. So I appreciate when I see a president like the president of Gambia extending his hand to help our president-elect despite the tense situation. And remember, he went through the similar thing that Chiroma is going through now. So he understands what is at stake here. So I appreciate you, Mr. Excellency. Thank you very much for taking good care of our president, Issa Tchiroma Bakary. It's a great thing. As an African brother, I'm so proud. I'm so proud and happy to see that our African brothers actually look out for one another. And then the next report, like I told you earlier on, will fresh revelation on what is going on in Cameroon. A new analysis of the October 2025 Cameroon presidential election alleges massive manipulation, claiming the true winner was Issa Tchiroma Bakary, not incumbent Paul Biya. The report claimed electoral body ELECAM fabricated results in 20 departments by massively inflating voter turnout, giving Paul Biya 87% of the total of the vote in those areas. If these 20 disputed departments were removed due to fraud, the results would show Issa Tchiroma Bakary 47.4%. Paul Biya 39.1%. The analysis concludes that the manipulation was significant enough to reverse the election outcome. This is not the good news. So you see, like all the 20 that I say, I have a lot of them. I don't want to bore you with a lot of details. That's why I had to summarize the whole report. You see, these are the numbers. You give the real numbers and they fabricated the results and boost those numbers to give Paul Biya the vote. You say, oh, there was massive turnout, which in reality, the reality was there was not massive turnout, especially you see in areas like the Northwest and Southwest where people did not show up. There was no massive turnout in the Northwest and Southwest, and we know why. Still yet, the regime won there in a landslide. How is that possible? They cheated, and there was a huge evidence of fraud. And you see all these places, Issa Tchiroma won massively. So the election results, official election result, needed to be 47.4% for Issa Tchiroma Bakary and 39.1% for Paul Biya. So that side show that they were doing, that inauguration, is unacceptable. Paul Atanga Nji will always come and say, the election is now behind us, so we have to focus. No, Mr. Paul, no, that's not it. All the two Pauls, Biya and Atanga Nji. Nope. It's not behind us. We are getting all the details now. So we are seeing it clear that Issa Tchiroma Bakary won the election as we expected and as we knew he did during the elections that took place on October 12, 2025. So you guys have to do what is great for the nation, and that is stepping down. So all that sideshow you guys have is none of our business. Whether you're fighting with Atanga Nji, with Ferdinand Ngoh Ngoh, or any other minister, that's not our problem. Our problem is you guys step down with immediate effect. We don't want this thing to deteriorate to another level. While it's still peaceful, let us come together and decide what kind of country we want. Because the kind of country you guys are trying to impose on us is not the one that we want. So going to give 2,000 francs to backriders in Bafoussam will not solve the problem. And you know that. So that is unacceptable. And we are going to continue to reject. We're going to reject you guys every single time because we do not recognize you as our leaders. You are not our leaders. You are incompetent, and you guys have destroyed Cameroon and made Cameroon go backward and backward every single year. And everything you guys turn to church instead take the country further backward. And we do not accept that, and that is unacceptable. So we're coming today massively to tell you it is unacceptable. So we don't want all this nonsense anymore. We disregard any outcome other than stepping down with your so-called head of state, because we don't recognize him as the head of state. So the next picture is going to be the president of Nigeria. Look at the picture. So you're going to see Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu with his top military officials, having a briefing on what is going on in Nigeria, and see the president. Look at how he's looking. Is this the guy who wants to solve the problem? Is this the guy who really want to solve the problem? To my Nigerian brothers and sisters, you remember when very dark man, Martin, Otse, Vincent. So you remember when he went to Benue State and was creating awareness on what was happening. A lot of influencers came out at the time to say, VDM is just creating content. He's just creating content. He was creating awareness on what is happening, talking about how those headsmen are damaging and seizing people's properties and doing a lot of negative stuff. People did not take him seriously. Even the ministers, the president, no meeting, nothing. And he kept on creating awareness in different areas about the situation on ground, what is happening. And the government seems to put a blind eye on what is happening on ground. And they are fully aware of all the situation. But they did not take any, straightforward action to ensure that the safety and security of those people were ensured. They did not. Until the president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, came in and created the awareness of, Donald Trump have a bigger platform than VDM. So now they are all of a sudden having meetings trying to solve the problem. When your own citizen came out and expressed his concern about the affairs of the nation, you did not take it as a responsibility of yours to ensure that every single Nigerian is safe, which is sad. And normally someone was going to come out and say, oh, you're not a Nigerian. Why are you talking about this stuff? Yeah, I'm not a Nigerian, but I'm an African. And Nigeria is an African country. So I have every right to talk about it. And forget about me even being an African or a Cameroonian. I'm a human being and a father. So to see someone going through that situation, a parent, having your kid and your kid is being, your kid goes to school and they are abducted. Young girls being abducted by these terrorists, also may say headsmen. It's unacceptable. But may I say this? This situation is so complicated. It is a complicated one. Because I see a lot of people are just drawing the Muslims. Yeah, maybe the people who are doing these things are Muslims. But I want to tell you this thing. A lot of Muslims in Nigeria are victim to this situation as well. So it's not all Muslims. There are just some few bad apples. And the bad apples are trying to make sure that everybody hear them loud and clear. So the major factor is getting rid of all these bad apples, not categorizing all these things and saying, oh, it is the Muslim. It's not the Muslim. It is some bad apple in the Muslim community. So we have to identify that, because if we don't do it and we let it deteriorate to another level where America is going to get involved full time, then you're going to understand that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because, as locals, you understand and you know who the bad guys are. You know where to identify them. When America come, sometimes they might not understand, the good guys from the bad guys, and it's going to be tough. So the terrain is going to be difficult to navigate. And when two elephants are fighting, who suffers the most? The grass. So this is a time where the Nigerian government, led by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, have to show the leadership spirit and step up and stop all these killings. We don't want to see innocent blood, and we don't want to see innocent girls and little boys and Christians being abducted by terrorists. It should stop. People should feel safe in their own country. So all this thing is not something that anybody should be happy about. No. If you're a human being, you're going to understand that every human life matters. There is no human life that does not matter. We all matter in this world. So we condemn that the atrocities committed by these terrorists in Nigeria, this should not happen. Let free all the girls, free all the people that you have abducted, and let them go free. If you have a problem, talk with the Nigerian government. Voice out your concern on what your problem is, if you have any. Instead of taking innocent souls, those kids have nothing to do with whatever grievances you have. They're innocent, for goodness sake. And the Christians, I don't know what you guys have against Christians. If you have any problem, if you're citizens of Nigeria, for goodness sake, channel your concern towards the administration and see how it can be resolved, rather than getting innocent souls, because they are innocent. We don't want to, you guys don't want to live in a country where everyone is unsafe. So this is a time where Nigerians have to put aside tribalism, because tribalism has been coded in their brain. It's not the time to say, oh, I'm an Igbo, it does not concern me. I'm a Yoruba, it does not concern me. I'm a this, it does not concern me. It concerns every single Nigerian. If you're a Nigerian, it should concern you. If you're an African, it should concern you. If you are a human being who live in any part of the world, it should concern you, because it is hard to see this kind of thing happen to another person. Talk less of it happening to you. Just put yourself in that person's shoes. If you were the one, what are you going to do? So I want us to think about all these things before we take any action. And we have to hold the government accountable. Let them do their job. This is a time where they have to show that they have what it takes to lead the country in times of struggle. So the Nigerian government, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you're the head of the armed forces, commander-in-chief. Show what you can do as the commander-in-chief. Show that you can lead the country towards a united front and confront these people trying to divide your country, because Nigeria is all the Nigerians are our brothers and sisters. So we respect them. We as Cameroonians are brothers. We're neighbors, for goodness sake. So what concerns you concern me. What concerns me concerns you. And all Africans, not only Nigeria. So I want to be very clear on that. So I appreciate Very Dark Man for creating the awareness in the first place. Because without VDM, people will not be aware of what was happening there. And he created awareness. A lot of people condemned him. But we, the ratters, because I consider myself a rattle, I understand some people may not like it, but he, Very Dark Man, is a great guy and is a role model to every young person in Africa to follow, see what he's doing and creating change in this country. We all have to try to copy the good things from Very Dark Man. Not only Very Dark Man, there are a lot of role models, especially the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. He's doing a fantastic job towards making sure his country is in a better place. And a shout out to the president of Botswana, Duma Boko. Those guys are doing a great job. So we have to copy from the best and see how we can make our countries better and better every single day. So to my Nigerian brothers and sisters, please forget about tribalism. Come out massively to support your brothers and sisters and make sure that you're creating awareness and you are vigilant to what is happening. Let's say no to these terrorists. Let's say no to every action they take to destabilize Africa and destabilize your country, Nigeria. Thank you. And let's go to the next and the last update of the day is coming from the Pope. So I'm going to put a picture on my screen. In this picture, you're going to see faithful and student in Nigeria and Cameroon. So the Pope was giving a prayer for Nigeria, and he mentioned Cameroon. He was praying for Nigeria on what is happening with the abduction of kids in Nigeria. It's a sad situation, and we are praying for Nigeria, and I'm also praying for my country, Cameroon, because we want change, and we are living in a pivotal point in our country's history. So we have to ensure that everything happens smoothly, and we need God's intervention. We need God's presence. We're going to do our own as human beings, but at the end of the day, what God is going to do is going to be mightier than any move that we're going to take. So we believe in God, and we know that He has the final say. So we just keep trusting Him. But at the same time, you don't trust God without taking action, because God has equipped us with what it takes, to be decisive. And He's going to guide us through the process. But in any process or any action that we take, we have to let Him involve. Like, hey, God, this is what I want to do. Let Him be in in the midst of that, and let him guide you and lead you towards that situation. And you're going to realize that things are going to go out for the better. And sometimes it might not work out the way you want it to work out. Sometimes he might take another route to show you and teach you a lot of things, so that when the blessing comes or when things get better, you're going to appreciate what happened. That is going to equip you to better understand the deep things of this world, to better understand how to handle challenges, because there is no challenge that occurs without you being capable of handling it. So if you see what is happening across the continent, we have the ability to handle it. We just have to strategize and put let God be involved in every process and decisions we're going to take. So, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this is the time where you have to show the Nigerian people that you have what it takes. And to the Cameroon guys, the people in government, we did not vote for you as our leaders. So you have to step down with immediate effect. Step down with immediate effect and let the Cameroonian people rule their country the way they want it to be. Because we voted for Issa Tchiroma Bakary, and that will not change. That is the truth, and that is the truth only. We will not accept any other form of government. Whether you want to do it left, right, center, that's not a problem. Our problem is our president should be instated because he won the election, and you know it, I know it. So let's make sure that happens with immediate effect, and that will happen. That will happen. Whether the regime likes it or not, that will happen. So I'm praying for the people of Nigeria, and I'm praying for my people in Cameroon. I'm praying for Africa, because Africa have been divided for too long. This is the time where we have to rise and we have to come together as brothers and sisters to talk to one another and see how we can make our continent better and better every single day. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next episode. I'm so emotional right now, but I appreciate you for watching to the end. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you're new. And if you're our subscriber, please, I just want to appreciate you for everything you do, and share our videos with your loved one, family, and friends. Let's spread the word out there. Love and peace. Thank you very much. Au revoir tout le monde. Bye-bye.